Breanna, thank you for working through this and being a champ here. I
No problem.
apologize. We're having a really great discussion, and then all of a sudden, we got interrupted. So anyway, um, anybody would like to give any further comment to Breanna?
Just as Mike, I would love to hear more about HSI or maybe a website link to learn more. I think that's a great service you're providing for the community to help a new startup that wants to go the nonprofit route. Brad, you mentioned earlier too about your tax status. So don't be misled that you can't make money as a nonprofit. You certainly can. You just can't distribute those profits.
Yeah.
You retain profits as retained earnings for future operations. You just can't let that number get excessively high, because then the IRS, if they did determine you to be a nonprofit or your sponsoring organization, they're going to say, you got way too much money here if you're a nonprofit. What are you going to do with it? So you need to demonstrate that if it's excessive. I don't know what the level is of what excess means, but those are just some of the nuances of going with a determination letter for the IRS to become a nonprofit, to get your 501c status.
Thank you.
And I think, regarding your question regarding HSI, Mike, I think that was Linda, so I don't think she's in the call here, but I will pass that information to you. Okay. Any other comments, feedback to Breanna? So Breanna, so what's your timeline? So what are you looking to? I know that you are in the process of right now getting things going, raising funds, so on and so forth. So have you put any kind of a timeline to that gives you an idea about, okay, I want to go out and accomplish this by this date?
I would say everything's kind of on hold right now with the COVID-19.
Yeah.
I was my plan was to start fundraising again this spring. So hopefully once all this settles down, we could start fundraising again. I'm hoping at least by next spring, we can hopefully have a location or almost open. It's just really going to depend on how the next couple of steps go with raising money, and then starting to, we're hoping to go to Rising Tides to fund the rest of our project.
Okay. So this is something that would be eligible, Rising Tide eligible. I don't know if Chris Hudak is on the call or not. I don't know if you know Chris, but Chris is a part of our organizing committee too. So have you talked to him yet?
A little bit. I haven't had like a actual meeting with him. But I've talked to him here and there through email. Just wondering if nonprofits were a thing that they did do. So I'm just waiting on certain things to kind of get situated on my personal end, and then going to meet with him and get the paperwork done.
Okay, great. Any other feedback? Any other comment to Breanna? I think it's a great concept. Did you look at? Are there other similar programs that you have looked at? It may be nationwide, that you can benchmark this against. I'm assuming that there might be other like cafe kind of a thing that you're thinking about. It may not be here in the Lehigh Valley, but it may be across the U.S. Have you looked at anything like that?
Yes. I've gone to other cat cafes. There's actually two down in Philly, and there's a newer one in Doylestown, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I've gone to ones out in the West Coast, in Seattle and Portland. So it's all been just kind of a learning experience, and everyone does it differently. I've also gone to cat conventions too.
Okay.
And I went to a panel that was how not to open up a cat cafe. So basically it was 3 different cat cafe owners, and they all just talked about the problems they faced, and all of them were different because every city, it's a newer thing, so everyone's going to have a different law of food and cats in the same building.
Okay.
So it's really interesting to see how different every city has. Everyone's gone through their journey and differently it is.
Yeah. Is there so from your business model, so you are going to make money by selling the baked goods, and is there going to be any adoption fee for the cats? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, so we'll be making money. The majority, our main profit is probably going to be the reservation fee for visiting with the cats. So it would probably be anywhere between $10, $15, just depending on where we see fit. And then they'll be making, sorry, what was I going to say? I lost track of train of thought. Oh, baked goods are pretty much going to cover the cost of like our employees, and then the reservation fee is going to cover most of everything else. And then the adoption fee is going to go towards the animal shelter we're going to end up partnering with, so that it's covering like vet costs and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments, feedbacks, guys?
Just a quick one. You might want to reach out to Mystical Treats Cafe in Hellertown. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but their tagline to their business is a whimsical cafe. And I've talked to the founder there. He was a successful businessman that's doing this as a kind of passion project and hobby. And he has a lot of experience in trying a cafe that's kind of out of the normal. I mean, he's got dragons and all sorts of stuff in his cafe and the challenges that have come around that. And he's actually revamping his business model right now, because he said, if I wasn't personally successful before this, I would have been out of business. And he's now revamping his idea, and it's right over in Hellertown. He would also likely be willing to partner. He seems to be really invested in the community and wanting to partner with organizations. My guess is you can't do that in his store, but I think he has a little patio outside that you could possibly do a pop up, bring a couple cats, sit outside in a little fenced area or something, or some variety of that. So I'll send you the link to the
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And Chris, thank you for, I know that you brought it to my attention yesterday regarding the Zoom hack. So
yeah, I know it was a disruption, but internally I was giggling a little bit because it made me realize how similar we are, because I did the exact same thing. Somebody warned me, and I was like, no, it'll be fine. That won't happen to me. I hosted an event. I had Zoom bombers the whole time, and then I changed everything.
That's okay. Now I've learned something, so we'll make sure that we send passport out, and we'll also use the meeting room.
Raja, just for your clarification, when I signed in a second time,
Yeah.
it didn't ask for my password. I got right into the meeting.
Okay. I'll mention that to Christine. Christine has been setting this up for us, so I will. So what I'm going to do after we are done with this call is that starting next Wednesday, we'll just make sure that we are much more secure, and then I think probably also use the waiting room feature, so we know, at least idea of who's getting in. So,
yeah.
Okay.
No
Problem. Yeah, because it also gave me a little problem getting in. Yeah, I had to click on that link a couple of times. I had to shut all my windows down because it was giving me a message saying that there's another call going on at the same time.
Yeah, you're already in the meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for Bree.
Yes, please.
Hey, Bree.
Hi.
I have two questions. Number one, if you're going to do a pop-up, can you put a cat on a leash? How do you corral cats?
So we would probably, if we did a pop-up, we would find a business that has maybe an extra room provided. Like I was hoping something or like with Color Me Mine or something like that. Either we build a room in like a bigger space where like if you ever see those like catio things, it's like basically just chicken wire and some 4x4s building a room. So I would probably do something like that for a pop-up. It's just kind of getting everyone, that's been the problem, is getting everyone on board to do a pop-up.
So everyone's in the cage with the cats?
Yeah, basically.
And my follow-up question is, what are you doing for marketing? There were a lot of suggestions today about setting up collaborative relationships to do pop-ups. We talked about informing vets and other pet-related stores. What other communities will you be reaching out to?
It's a good question. Well, like they said, the artist community is something important to me, and the rescue world. Probably maybe possibly food businesses, people who I can partner with baking. I would like to kind of reach out to a couple bakeries because I would personally be doing the baking, but I'm really open to reaching out to other businesses who maybe do something that I could provide for the cafe.
Have you considered doing cat parties, like for families that have a kid that wants to do something special for their birthday, even before you have a space, where you could do a catio or, you know, a pop-up, but at somebody's home or at another location, appropriate for a children's party?
Yes, I have. Also, the one major problem with that though is with cats and traveling, they get stressed out and they can get sick easily when
Okay.
they're stressed out. So doing events that are kind of temporary, doing a pop-up, I would need to do kind of long-term, like a month to 3 months, so that
Okay.
they're more relaxed. It's not like, okay, we're gonna take these cats out of the shelter, drop them off at this place, and then pick them up and take them back to the shelter.
So that would be best if when you actually have your space, to have events in your space, different themed events or different groups.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you.
By the way, when you finish asking question, if you can just mute your mic so there's no background noise. Any other? So there's a question for you, Bree. Would your bakery sell to the public other than those coming to be with the cats?
Yes, we would. Hopefully, I'm hoping that people will come in if they don't have time to spend time with the cats, that they do come in, purchase something, just so that they're still supporting what we do, and then even just kind of quickly seeing what we do and learning more about us.
Okay, so it'll be sold to the public as well. Great. Okay. Any other comments or feedback to Breanna?
Again, just another potentially random connection, but the factory in South Bethlehem, you know, they're right next to Raja, the CIE there, but they're, you know, pet and food incubator. So you wouldn't be a client company because they're looking for much later stage companies there. But they, again, are super willing to partner with the community. They've got a huge warehouse type space where they're not actually doing food production in there. And the founder is a huge dog lover. He was the founder of Fresh Pet. And so has his dogs running around that space all the time. So there's already pets in that space. So again, I don't know if there would be any kind of, you know, set up some kind of pop-up in there. You can't tell I'm a big fan of, like, try it early before you commit to a permanent space and build something out for tens of thousands of dollars and see how people react. You know, even if that's out of your apartment or something where you invite 10 friends of friends over, see if they're willing to pay $10 to hang out with a couple cats, even if they're just your own in the beginning, just to see how people react and what they're willing to spend money on.
Breanna, do you know Factory? Are you familiar with Factory?
I'm not sure if I'm thinking of the right thing. So remind me what it is exactly.
So if you are, so you know where the Northampton Community College Fowler Center is?
Yeah.
And then you know where the Charter Arts High School is? Okay, so right behind it, you know, there is a new food incubator startup company called Factory LLC. You can't miss it. It's big. So there's a big sign.
Yeah.
You know, and the gentleman that started that, or one of the managing partners there, Rich Thompson, you know, he started Fresh Pets, you know, in Bethlehem, that, you know, that produces, you know, pet foods. And he's a big, you know, pet lover. So they have got a pet aspect to it too. But I think, as Chris suggested, you know, if nothing else, I think it might be, and I'll be happy to give you introduction there. It might be, I think you'll be very interested in your concept. And, you know, since you're looking for, you know, some kind of resources and support, there might be things that they may be able to, you know, help you with to get you going. So.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I think I saw them the other night. I was driving by and I saw like big light up factory, just says factory, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You can't miss it. It says, there's a big sign called Factory LLC on top of that building.
Okay.
Um, Rita, to answer your question, yes, the chats are safe. So I will, I will share this recording, not the previous one, but I'll go ahead and share this, share this recording with all of you. Yes. Jessica has a question for you, Breanna. I think she mentioned at the beginning that she would love to stay connected with your idea. If there's any way that she can help when you start the actual location, should I leave my information on here or should I email it to Cupcat Cafe? How would you like her to contact you?
She can email me. Emailing Cupcats would be the best, probably the best route, just so I have it.
Okay, and I can provide her with your contact information.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? So since we have kind of like going to come to our end of the presentation here, why don't we do this? If you have any kind of an announcement that you'd like to make, please feel free to, we can do one at a time, 30 seconds or less. So who wants to, if anyone has an announcement? No, that's surprising. Yeah, Rita, go ahead.
Well, my coffee talks have gone from monthly to weekly. So there's going to be another coffee talk tomorrow from 11:30 to 1 on Zoom. And I'm going to post the information here in the conversation where you can find me or get registration or details about it. And we're going to talk about what you post on social media, that you should stop posting crappy content and work on social media as more of a relationship rather than just broadcasting information.
Girish, do you want to mention about the program tomorrow? Your mic is off, Girish. Your mic is, you got to turn that on.
In conjunction with the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber of Commerce and the SBA and SCORE, we're hosting a webinar tomorrow at 9 a.m., 9 to 10, principally to address the issues regarding the current situation we are in and how it impacts small business owners, the resources available to them. SBA will be making a presentation on the various programs and financial aid that's available. So if you want to pass that on to other small businesses, please do so and try to attend if you can.
I see the registration link come in on the chat. Is that how people sign up for it?
No, I don't recognize that.
I think Rita just sent that in. Is that the link, Rita?
Yeah.
That's the link to Coffee Talk. It's,
Okay.
I couldn't shorten it.
Okay, that's the link to Coffee Talk. That's a separate program. But Girish, the one that you're talking about tomorrow, is there a way that you can share the link, or how will people find out about it?
The link should be coming out sometime today.
Okay.
From the Chamber of Commerce, and I can pass it on to you, Raja, to broadcast.
No problem, and I'll be happy to.
Okay.
I'll be happy to send that out.
All right.
Yep. Anyone else has any announcements? I've got a quick update, and it actually is a request. So one of the things that we're always looking, we discussed it this morning in our 1 Million Cup Organizing Committee meeting. We're always looking to see if there are any other topics that would be relevant during this time frame. We are trying to make it as impactful as possible. So if there's things that you think we should talk about or we should approach someone, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to explore that with the committee. Right now, our presentation lineup, I think we've been fortunate enough to get presenter all the way up until mid-June, so we are good. Unless someone cancels or if there's something happens. But we have got presentation lined up till mid-June, so far. Well, if there's no other feedback or questions, Breanna, thank you for sharing your story. And I apologize that there was a hiccup. We were having a good discussion, and then we had to leave, and we had to come back, again. But thanks for being a good sport. You stuck around, and you finished it. By the way, with all our 1 million cup presenter, we give you a coffee cup that says 1 million cup. I'll get that to you once we are, out of our, current situation. And feel free to join our call every Wednesday morning. We'd love to, keep in, touch with you and find out, what is going on, and if we can help you in any way. We certainly would love to do that. And there's a lot of good feedback on the chat. You will see it once I share with you. I think there's a lot of people want to help you get you going. So feel free to join you will receive the notification for every Wednesday morning, and keep us posted as far as how things are coming along. So if there's no other questions, comments, feedback, thank you all for joining the call this morning, and thanks for putting up with a mishap that happened. Chris did warn me yesterday. I just thought that it was not going to happen to us, but it did. So, but starting next week, we'll make sure that we have a password, and we'll also use the waiting room feature so that won't happen again. All right. Well, thank you all.